So at the minute we're sort of halfway through the season 2 finale of Gravity Falls, and a lot of very interesting things have happened. Like, I can't really see the plot recovering from this. This very much seems like it could potentially be the end of the whole show. I mean, I think they've sort of fired off all their weapons, but I have a theory that I would like to share about the next episode, because we're currently in the middle of a 2-part finale. It's weird, they don't release episodes every week, because we had the first part of the finale at the end of October, and I believe we were expecting part 2 at the end of November, so we have like a month of speculating in that time. So what I will say is that if you haven't watched season 2 episodes 17 and 18, I would recommend stop watching now, because there's going to be some very, very large spoilers in this, and it's the sort of show where you definitely don't want it spoiled, because there's so many great reveals coming up. So yeah, this is your chance to turn off if you haven't seen those episodes before we enter spoiler territory. Okay, so when Uncle Ford was on the spaceship in, I believe it was episode 17, him and Dipper were attacked by the space pods. Ford was snatched by it, and the ship was going to automatically take him back to the homeworld. When the computer was flashing through the different stars and the star charts and stuff, one recurring image that came up was the Ursa Major system, also known as the Great Bear, also known as the Big Dipper. Now, I can't for the life of me remember Dipper Pines' real name. I can't remember if it's actually given in the show, but we know that his name is Dipper because of the birthmark on his head, which he covers with his hair and with his the peak of his cap. And in the very same episode where they spoke, when the Big Dipper was flashed up on screen, when the ship was going to take Ford back, they included a shot with the wind flapping at his hair, lifting it up, and they actually showed you his birthmark. In the episode where they speak about an alien spacecraft from the Ursa Major system, they reminded the viewers that Dipper had this mark on his forehead. Now, the next episode comes along, and it's just Bill Cipher everywhere. Like, Bill is sort of, running the shop, and the opening credits for episode 18 was one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, the barriers of reality are falling apart in Gravity Falls, and so the metaphysics is everywhere, and I think the fact that Bill Cipher can reach through the screen and sort of beyond the show and influence the opening credits, because he just exists on all dimensions, on all levels. I thought that was a really nice touch, and the whole episode was fantastic. But just to tie this back to what I was saying earlier about the Big Dipper and the importance here, I think that Dipper himself, the character, has some connection with the aliens. They both have that, Ursa Major, Big Dipper connection. The mark on his forehead, and the fact that that's the position, that's where the ship came from, is mapped literally scarred onto his forehead. So my theory is this. In episode 18, we see Blendin Blandin and the Time Baby. There's quite clearly some sort of big, time travel presence in this story. I mean, the fact that Blendin Blandin turned up and he was possessed by Bill Cipher, which tricked Mabel into opening the rift. That character could have been anything. Why was it Blendin Blandin? And after the Time Baby was killed, we see Blendin escape and he runs away. So I don't think we're quite finished with the time travel element here. So this is what I think might happen. The only way to defeat Bill Cipher would be, in my mind, to go back in time to before he was created. Now, I don't even necessarily know if that's possible. If you went back in time, Bill might not even be there because he's from another dimension, but whatever. Stick with me on this. Blendin Blandin helps Dipper Pines travel back in time, and maybe there's some great big space battle, and long story short, my idea is it was Dipper Pines that piloted the spacecraft into Gravity Falls millions of years ago. So the story could be that Blendin sends Dipper back in time, there's some sort of great epic space battle across a rift millions of years ago, back at the dawn of time when Bill Cipher was first originally created, to stop Bill from, if you prevent Bill from being created, you avert the whole Armageddon. And then Dipper, during this fight, maybe after defeating Bill Cipher, crash lands onto Earth in this spaceship, which he has for some unexplored reason. The spaceship crashes into Gravity Falls, and it turns out that it was Dipper and Mabel which were actually the root cause of all the weird stuff that happens in Gravity Falls, because they were the one that left the ship there. And maybe, that wouldn't explain why Dipper was born with the birthmark on his head, but maybe that's something that'll be explained later. I definitely think there has to be a connection between Dipper's birthmark and the fact that the ship buried underneath Gravity Falls is from the Ursa Major system. And a further thought is, if they do travel back in time, and if they do pilot the ship and crash land it there, What if Dipper and Mabel are still on board the ship? What if they're frozen in a stasis pod? What if they've been buried under Gravity Falls for millions of years, and after they go off and they disappear, and they travel back in time to do battle with Bill Cipher in his great big spaceship, millions of years later, someone wakes them up and they've been asleep, frozen on the alien spaceship, buried under Gravity Falls for millions of years, waiting for 2015 to come back round. I mean, I know it seems like quite a long shot, but I'm just trying to tie together the idea that, Dipper Pines has this connection to the aliens buried under Gravity Falls, and why that would be important to Bill Cipher being there, and the unexplained needs to have Blendin Blandin and the Time Baby in this finale. I'm just realising that anyone who hasn't watched Gravity Falls that's just listened to this is going to think, what the hell, like Time Baby? that says it all, really. But yeah, so I guess we're not going to find out until the end of November. I hope they use the new opening credits again. In fact, what I hope they do is they do a different set of opening credits that's even weirder, with more Bill Cipher-y goodness, but I'm kind of worried that they might actually destroy Bill Cipher once and for all, which would be a shame because he's one of those villains I'd really like to see come back. And of course, summer is ending. It's reaching the end. I mean, maybe they do defeat Bill. Maybe they don't answer the question as to why Dipper is connected to these aliens. Maybe they'll come back during winter vacation, but I'm curious. I definitely think the temptation would be there on the creators' half to actually end the series after, summer ends and Bill Cipher is defeated, but I guess we'll have to see. So yeah, that's my theory, and I guess we will see if it comes true. And I will probably post another reaction video talking about the events of episode 19 as and when it does air. So I will see you next time.